I guess beliefs wise, if you're talking about more religion or just something deeper, that I'm actually a UU, which is Unitarian Universalist. That's the fellowship that I joined, like, I don't know, in 07 or 08. I kind of hate labels about this particular religion, because I feel like everybody's on their own spiritual journey or path, as I like to call it, and each person could be different. Even if they're Christian and they even go to the same church, they could both be on diverging paths. So I kind of, sometimes people like to put themselves in camps. You know what I mean? Same thing happens for politics, which we won't touch. That'll be a third rail. But I like things that are like true and provable, and so it's really hard to prove some of these things. So when somebody says, "Well, I just believe it," to me, you just got to kind of leave it there, because you're not going to be able to take it into, like, a lot of these shows. They want scientific proof that they're going to be able to test and retest, and I got to admit, using the scientific method, that would be the way to do it. But obviously, you can't really do that with faith. So I think that each person should just kind of take that and do as it may. I was raised, though, in more of a non-religious household, I guess I would call it. I did attend private school, which surprises a lot of people, private Christian school from about third grade until about maybe halfway through eighth, going into high school type time. And I was saved, quote unquote, a few times in there. But I got to admit, I never really felt like, everybody said that I should be feeling a certain way, but I never did. I never felt like, anything that moved me in that way, or the voice of God, or whatever you want to call it. I never felt like anybody had talked to me. I just felt like everybody else felt like I should feel that way. So I kind of did. And asking questions was a big no-no in these things. They always would come up with, well, God's ways are much bigger than ours, or you just got to believe. And that was really tough for me as I grew into middle school and was asking these questions. And I didn't really feel like I got good answers. So I kind of got disillusioned with it and never really came back to it until I came up here into Idaho, and then my wife started attending this UU. I won't call it a church; it's more of a fellowship, Fellowship of the Rings. But well, they don't like the word church because there's a lot of people that go there that are not. They came from all different kinds of backgrounds, and they all are kind of disillusioned with their particular religions and go here just because it's more like-minded people. So that's why maybe church isn't the right moniker for it. But I did like it because I actually sat in the back the very first time I was there. I loved what everybody was saying. It was all about, loving your fellow human being and treating everybody with respect. And there was just a lot of things that I felt that I would just do, religious or not. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I actually sat next to a guy when we did the little introductions, or introduce yourself to the next person, and he is an atheist. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Kind of thing. Like, I mean, because I didn't know even where I was yet. And he goes, oh, these people are very comforting to be here. It's like-minded people, and I love coming here. And I was like, wow. So, yeah.
What's funny about that, Julian, is I Googled Unitarian Universalist when you said, what you looked at. And what, Google comes up with their questions, their follow-up questions. The first question was, can Unitarians be atheists? That's just ironic that was the first thing that you brought up.
Yeah. It surprised me, Randy. It really did. It to me, somebody that's, and again, with the labels, because to me, even atheist is a weird label in general, like to me, because if somebody's not a carpenter, you don't call them, a non-carpenter, or you know what I mean? I just
it makes me non a lot of things.
That's what I mean. It would make us non a lot of things. Exactly. So even that name, so to speak, is kind of, but I'm more from the agnostic-y, I guess, sort of maybe atheist camp, in the sense of I just don't know, so I'm not going to pretend to know, I guess, is my take. And I'm certainly not going to judge anybody on whatever they feel. If they are feeling something that I didn't feel, more power to them.
That's the perfect thing for our show, man. That's exactly where we are.
Absolutely. Kind of open-mindedness. Yeah.
I had never heard of the Unitarian Universalist, to be honest with you.
Neither had I.
I had only heard of it from Julian. So
Yeah, and they.
How did you stumble onto that?
Well, my wife was looking for places to fellowship at when we first moved here, and I was not interested at all. I'll be quite honest. Wasn't interested in the least bit. And then after she had gone there a few times, she had said, these people, these might be your peeps. Like, I'm telling you, these sermons, if you even want to call them that, are very minded towards, again, treating people with respect, loving your neighbor, all these different things that are being inclusive. And it was such I don't even want to call it a melting pot of people, but I guess that's the best term, is just so many different people from so many different religions. Although I have not met a person that used to be Buddhist that has gone there. That's the only thing I haven't met.
Interesting.
But everybody else seems to be represented there from all the different religions.
I should visit one here. Awesome. Yeah, I should visit one here in San Antonio so that I can find some more guests for the show.
I was going to say, it sounds like that group here.
Yeah, exactly.
They tend to be very open-minded, and they're very, just kind as far as I'm concerned, at least here in the Treasure Valley. So I can't imagine. It seems like everywhere that people have gone from the fellowship, and they've gone to, let's say, to someplace in, Kentucky or whatever. It seems like you seems the same everywhere you go. Cool. Meaning they've attended services there on a Sunday because they happen to be visiting their kids or something, and it seems to be the same.